Hello everyone, welcome back to Atreyu Crochet. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make a hat stiff again, more specifically the brim. In the previous tutorial showing you how to make a hat stiff or make a brim stiff, I used the starch and ironing method, and many of you said that you prefer to use the wire method. So that's what I'm going to be showing you guys today, and then you won't have to worry so much about what type of yarn or material you're using. Okay, so things you will need. First you're going to need, I'm using this nylon cord, okay, and it has these connectors in there. I'll give you a closer view a little bit later. Okay, you're obviously going to need whatever project you're working on, or in this case, since I'm doing it after the fact, whatever project you've completed. If you're still working on it, then wait till you are ready to start the final round of your brim. Okay, since I already finished this, I need to have some yarn, the color that I used for this. Okay, you're going to need some pliers, which will serve to cut this nylon cord, but as well will serve to kind of crimp the connectors when it's time. I'm using a 5mm crochet hook because that's what this yarn calls for. Gonna need some scissors to cut that yarn at the end, and then a darning, weaving tapestry needle to weave in the tail. Let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is get your nylon cord out, and these are the connectors that I was talking about. Okay, and you're going to need to measure out enough of this nylon cord to get you all the way around. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now. And you want it to actually overlap. Okay, you don't want it to just be barely making it around. You could also use some yarn and just go around, follow around the perimeter, and then measure that out, and then make sure it overlaps, of course, but then, you know, measure out that same amount of this nylon cord and then cut it. So it's just an option, but let me get this unraveled. Okay, so you want to take a spot. Here's my tail, that's my tag, and it marks the back of the hat. So I'm just going to stick this nylon through like that, through one of the stitches, going like that. And then I'm going to measure this around the perimeter, around the brim. Okay, just a rough measurement. You want to make sure that there are no kinks in your nylon wire, okay, because that's going to affect how well it comes out, right? Okay, so I'm back around, and then, like I said, I want it to overlap, okay, like that. So I'm going to cut there. Because this is nylon, the scissors actually work better, so I'm going to use them instead of the pliers to cut this. See how easy that was? Okay. And now I have a rough estimate of my length. Preferably, you want too much nylon cord than too little. You can work with too much because you can always cut it down. The first one that I cut, it had this kink in it, and that's just hard to work with. So that's why I'm cutting a new piece. Alright, so I have my yarn. I'm ready to start to crochet. Because I want my stitches to face this way, I want them to display the same way, I'm going to turn my hat, my brim around this way, so I'm looking the outside of the stitches. Okay? And I can take this out because I have my length. It's all here, right? Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to insert my crochet hook into the stitch there. Alright, and I want to have this nylon just to the back like that. I'm going to grab my yarn now, and I'm going to be crocheting over this nylon cord. So let's get this started first. So we yarn over, pull it through like this, okay, hold the tail in the back, and then yarn over chain one to kind of secure it, and then we can pull on that. Alright, I'm going to crochet over this tail, so I'm going to lay it on top, but I'm also going to be crocheting over this nylon cord, okay? So watch what I do. I got my cord. Got this tail that I'm going to crochet over, and I got the working yarn there. I know it's a lot going on, but just take your time. So I'm going to put the cord behind, and I want it to kind of overlap, go past the point where I'm at. Okay, so it's there. I'll pull my working yarn so my loop doesn't get too big, and now I'm going to insert my hook right back where I first went in before I chained one, like that. Alright, now I'm going to yarn over. Notice I have the nylon cord and that tail I want to crochet over lying on top. So I yarn over, pull through to the front. And this is going to feel kind of weird initially. Alright, for my 2 loops, 1, 2. And then I'm going to yarn over and go through 2 to make the single crochet. 1, 2. Okay. Now this nylon cord is embedded in that single crochet, as is that tail, which is what I want. Okay. Now it's a little tough to see because I'm working with a darker color, but it'll be okay. Alright, find the next stitch, which is there. My darning weaving tapestry needle. So this is the top of the next stitch there. So I'm going to slice the icing off the top of the cake there. Like that. Make sure the tail I want to crochet over is on top, as well as the nylon cord. And then with the working yarn, I'm going to yarn over and pull through to the front. Like that. For 2 loops, yarn over, go through 2. 1, 2. And I'm just going to keep doing this for every stitch, putting a single crochet, 1 single crochet in every stitch around, crocheting over the nylon cord. See how easy that is? Okay. Zoom in a little bit more. Alright, so slice the icing off the top of the single crochet, make sure the tail and the nylon cord is where you want it, and then yarn over, go through 2. So that's there, go through 2. Alright, I'm done with the tail now, so I'm just crocheting over the nylon cord. So slice the icing off the top of the cake, put the nylon cord on top, and then make your single crochet. Like that. Next one, there. Keep the nylon cord on top and crochet over it. Hopefully you guys are able to see this. Slice the icing off the top of the cake, put the nylon cord on top, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2. 1, 2. 1.5 because I split my yarn. See if I can correct this. I think I can. I think I can. Okay, there it is. Alright, next one. Inner, nylon on top, yarn over, pull through to the front, 2 loops, yarn over, go through 2. Okay, and this is what you're getting. Okay, here's that. Make sure this doesn't slide out. See how if I pull it, it'll come that way. I want to keep it out enough. I don't want to lose it. Okay, so I'm just gonna continue putting 1 single crochet in every stitch around, crocheting over this nylon cord. Okay, and I'm going to meet you once we get back around so that I can show you how to put the connector on and we can finish this up and see if we indeed end up with a hat with a stuffed brim. Alright, I'm excited. I'll see you guys in a bit. So I am almost back around, just have a few more. You see this is the initial wire, and then you see this is how much I have left. So I'm getting close, you guys. Remember, you want too much of that nylon cord as opposed to too little, because you can always cut it down when you have too much. Okay, so I'm just continuing to put these single crochets in. Let me zoom in a little bit to help you see better. Alright, still crocheting over the cord. Slicing the icing off the top of the cake of these single crochets, and as you get closer, don't let that initial cord get in your way. Okay, just kind of push it to the back while you continue doing what you've been doing all the way around. Okay, we'll try to go in here. Yep. Okay, so I am basically back around. This is where I started. Okay, here's my yarn. And before I connect this, I want to put my connector on. Okay, remember these bad boys? These are the connectors. I want to put those on. Obviously, I'm going to have to cut this down so that it fits properly. But I don't want to connect that round until I've placed the connector, because I want to be able to crochet over it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll make my loop a little bit big. Alright, as I told you, so let's work with the nylon right now. And let's get this yarn out of the way. Alright, so we want it to kind of cross over, and we want to be able to place this connector in between so that it's kind of, seamless. So we're going to just start cutting down to see how we can achieve that. Cutting down, cutting a little bit on this side, and cutting obviously a lot on this side. Alright, so I have them crossed where my thumb is, and I'm just going to cut on either side. Just a little bit at a time, just seeing what I need. And then on this side, I'm going to cut down. Okay. Alright, you guys, so for whatever reason, these connectors that came with this set the girth of it is comparable to the actual girth of the nylon cord. So what I did is I bought some bigger ones, okay? And I'll leave a link to these. I think it's better to have bigger ones anyway, then you don't have to worry about what size cord you have. And even if you use a thicker one, you'll have some larger ones which can accommodate. So better too big than, as we saw, too small. Alright, so you're going to take one of these and we're going to fit it on both sides. We're still trying to get that perfect crossover distance between the two ends of the nylon cord to fit the connector. So remember, we're working on the outside of the hat, and we want to make sure that our yarn is not caught in between these before we put the connector in. Okay, so I'm going to make sure it's to the front like that, and then I'm going to put the connector on like that, and then I'm going to put the other end on like that, and just see how it fits. Okay, once I'm satisfied with how it fits, then I'll crimp it. So I still have at least one more single crochet to make, but I think I can cut it down a little bit more. So take my scissors, cut a little bit there, and then I can probably cut a little bit more there too on that side. This is kind of like a trial and error. Okay, yeah, it's perfect. Alright, now that I have the correct distance, the correct amount of cord measured out, I'm going to take one side. You see how it can go all the way through, so just keep it there. And I'm going to use my pliers to crimp this. So just crimp it a couple of times. Okay, and then I'm going to test to make sure it won't come off, and it can't. I'm pulling, right? And now I'm going to put the other side in. So it goes in like that. And now I'm going to crimp that side. When you crimp, as you're crimping one side only, make sure you're indeed only crimping one side only, because if you crimp the whole thing or you crimp too far over, you won't be able to get the other side in. So very important. That should go without saying, but accidents, mistakes can happen, or you just may not be thinking about it. So yeah, I'm just crimping just to make sure. And then once both sides are crimped, then you can crimp the whole thing so that the cord won't slide out from any place along the distance. Okay, now I'm going to test pull. Oh, didn't quite get that one, so I'm going to go back in and make sure. I flattened it one way, but it didn't flatten in the other way, so I want to make sure it. And I'm going to hold it there this time. Okay, now let's try. Good, and that's why you always do the pull test. So now that that's done, we can finish crocheting and connect this. Okay, so now I put my yarn to the back again and I continue as normal, as if though I'm still crocheting over the cord, which I am. So I go in here where I can get in. It's a little tight there, but it's okay. Yarn over, pull through to the front. Now I'm crocheting over everything like that. Alright, and I'm going to go into the beginning here just to make another single crochet there to kind of crochet over that cord. And actually I'm going to do one more before right there just to make sure I've covered the connector, and then I'll go over here and put another single crochet. And now with the single crochet there, I'm just going to slip stitch, chain one, cut my yarn, and fasten off. Okay, and then you can rotate this, you know, just stretch it out. And yeah, obviously you weave in this tail. You guys know I like to bring it in, so I'm gonna go through a nearby loop, bring it down, chain one, and then it will serve as a tag. And with this original tag, I'm just gonna tie a couple of knots, so I always know where the back is. And you see the connector. Okay, and yeah, so for those of you who are wondering how to make a hat stiff, how to make a brim stiff, apparently this is how you do it using nylon cord. In my opinion, I don't know. I mean, it definitely works, right? It's not as flappy. I suppose if you were to use a thicker cord, you know, it would be even stiffer. But yeah, this is pretty nice. This is a nice alternative. Okay, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. You know, I'll see you in the next one. In the meantime, happy crocheting.